for all the HR talent professionals, leaders that are listening here, if there was one thing that you wanted them to remember from our conversation, one important takeaway, what would that be?
Well, I think from a leadership perspective, if I can take it that route just for a second, we talked a lot about trust in challenging and encouraging and building a good culture and all this stuff. I just want to mention that I think compassionate management is so important. I think it's key to a lot of the things that we're talking about is to have the ability to manage compassionately with your folks, which will help build trust and a lot of the things that we talked about. But that's the ability to put yourself in other people's shoes, to see the world through their lens, to empathize with them, but leave enough space to be able to alleviate suffering or solve problems on their behalf. I think it's so key. And it's something that I didn't learn until I was probably about 12 years into my career. And when I really put my mind to trying to be a compassionate leader, it made a very large impact. I think earlier in my career, I was more of a driver, leaving that space to understand your people and where they're coming from. Here would be an example. So say you have an employee who every Monday they come in late. Supposed to start at 8 o'clock. They're coming in at 8:10, 8:15. Okay, well, you want to sidebar with that person and figure out what's going on. Fix the problem. That's the objective. We got to fix the problem. This guy's coming in late every Monday. Well, there's a couple ways to approach that. I think in my earlier days, I probably would have just sat down with that individual and say, hey, I noticed every Monday you're coming in anywhere between 8:10 and 8:15. Our expectation is that you get here at 8 o'clock. So I need you to start doing that. Okay. That's the conversation. Nowadays, I think I would approach it very differently. And I would say, hey, I've been noticing that you're coming in Mondays late 10 or 15 minutes. Can you tell me why that's happening? What's going on with that? And maybe they have a good reason. Maybe their mom is losing her eyesight and she needs a ride to her standing appointment at the eye doctor every Monday morning. And they're trying their best to get there at 8 o'clock, but they just can't make it. That's a very different conversation. You have somebody who is trying their best to take care of their family, get to work on time. The intention is there. They're just not approaching it in a way that's working. So that leaves room for a discussion, right? How can we kind of work together to help to solve this issue and alleviate that problem? So I think it's so important to give folks that space and to be empathetic and compassionate to them and understand where it is they're coming from first, to not make assumptions until you really get a feel for the entire scope of what's happening before you kind of jump in and try to do anything about it.